What's going on, guys? My name is Ryan. I trade ETFs, some of them leveraged, some of them not, and like to do some analysis in the after hours of the day's action and make a video about it and show you guys what I'm seeing. So starting off, we're looking at JNUG, and let's change this here to the Fibonacci just because I think it's easier. Let's see here. And what I did last night is I actually changed my analysis from JNUG to GDX because I find that the analysis on GDX is much easier. And so looking at the long-term pattern right off the bat, you can see that we're starting to move up a little bit. I am bullish on gold right now. We can see this upper trend line right here has been holding true. This is a major trend line. I have another minor trend line drawn here. Starting from the shoulder of this major move, I think that, I'm not sure what this top was. It seems like over an extended 5 wave. Perhaps there were a mini Elliott wave within this larger move upwards here, but what I saw was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5th wave here might have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it seems like it just kind of clogs up my chart. So long-term time frame, it looks like we're starting to see, marked by these horseshoes here, perhaps a change in trend. What we can also see marked by this blue arrow is that the volume has been steadily decreasing into this apex of this symmetrical triangle. I drew a little mini diagram of what we'd like to see here. We'd like to see price come in and set this 5-wave formation of A, B, C, D, E. We'd like to see it break out of this range, retest this trend line, and continue moving higher. So the first thing that I'm going to be looking for is it to break out here, probably get somewhere upwards in between these two, pull back, probably touch the apex, and then continue much higher, hopefully breaking this long-term 5-year downtrend that we've been in here for gold. So this is what I'm seeing for GDX. We see that it came back down, touch. This is our A, B. Unfortunately, this would be almost a perfect chart, but the C wave did not come all the way down and touch right here. Came about 3/4 of the way and then decided to go back up. I'm still going to count this just because this is my current theory on what's going on with the price. So would have liked to see it come all the way down, but we've got A, B, C, D, E, and let's zoom into a shorter time frame to see what we're seeing in this D wave, or this E wave right now. So I set another Elliott wave up here. I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 waves. Now typically we'll see a pullback here, an ABC retracement, and I think we got it. We got an ABC right here, and this is further supported by this Fibonacci level here, drawn from this low to this high. And we see that our 50% retracement, very strong retracement, comes to us right here at this 50% level. I bought an awful lot of JNUG right here at this C retracement because, again, my theory is that we are at E right here, and we're probably right about here. It's probably price is probably trying to make up its mind whether it's going to break out. Let's go ahead and draw what our theory is. Break out. We're going to retest here, and we're going to move higher. That's my theory as of right now. It's probably just stalling right here before it gets ready to, make this larger move upwards. Let's see. Let's go back to JNUG for a little bit to just look at some shorter time frames. JNUG actually broke out of this. I have this long-term downtrend drawn on my JNUG chart, but like I said in my last video, sometimes these 3 times leveraged ETFs, the price moves so much. You see it was 52 and it was 13 here. We just had a split. I think this was $4 a little bit. The price moves so much that it makes some longer term technical analysis a little bit not as valid. But we can see here that we've actually broken out of this right now, and here in JNUG. But like I said, I'm sticking to the GDX chart for my long-term charting. So right here, let's go into the 30-minute, and we can see that we had this head and shoulders. I think everyone saw that. We broke down. This is, again, the C in the GDX chart, and I bought a bunch of JNUG right around here, and these blue lines right here are actually some time Fibonacci retracements, and I'm not going to delete and redraw them right now, but it's right here in this icon in TradingView, and what I did is maybe we can try and draw it from this move down here. We're going to go to another low, and you see how the next wave that it sets in is at another low, and I just find these timelines a little bit helpful to find out trading ranges. We captured this move up here. Low is where the next line is, up, low, up. and then right here, and then it actually captured this low way over here on the other side, the low right here, and now I think we're going to move up again. Zooming in even more, because I think some of these leveraged ETFs have some pretty fun, intraday trading opportunities here within them. And we see that, we probably had a 5-wave here, A, B, C. We might have had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Now we're moving back up. We started to retrace here at the end of the day, but I'm not terribly concerned about it because my current position is low enough down here that I'm just going to continue with my original theory and let it run. But this is my analysis as of today on what JNugget is doing. And perhaps you might find it helpful to draw this support line right here. So we might retrace all the way down here. We can draw a mini Elliott wave, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what we might see tomorrow is something along the lines of A, B, C. Would C be supported by this trend line? Or would it make a new, or would it continue and go lower? I'm not sure. But today we had this nice little, descending triangle, which I ended up trading. We had this descending triangle here. Price was stuck at this level down here, went all the way to the apex, and then exploded higher. And then we had a pennant, which is pretty cool if you can begin to, see these in your trading. It's fun when you get to be able to see these. So we had this pennant here, and I was waiting for it to break above higher. I had a stop limit buy above this previous high right here. So I bought more into this and then just rode it up at this point. Unfortunately, it continued to break down, and that nice trade right here wasn't exactly realized because we're basically at the exact same price. But that's what to look for tomorrow. Moving on to my next one, which is LABU, Biotech sector. Let's go ahead and bring the chart out here, and let's move to the daily first of all. Daily, we can see we're in an uptrend. We've got these channels, which captures 95% of the price action over the last 8 months or so. Let's move into the 1 hour, get a better time frame, and what I saw is another symmetrical triangle here on LABU Biotech. Now, symmetrical triangles can break either upwards or downwards, but my point here is to show that volatility should increase, as we get closer now to this apex point right here. So let's see here, anything to report of interest. Let's go into the 30-minute and really take a good look at this symmetrical triangle. So much like with JNUG, we have a move up, then we have our A, B, C, D, and E. And then remember what I was saying about JNUG here. Let's go and delete this 1 sec, because what trading theory says should happen is we should retest here and then go out higher. And what we might be doing is this retest right now. So my theory for Biotech is that it might head up higher as soon as it bounces off this trend line that we've got right here. And what do we see? We've got a, this might be a hammer. Let's go ahead and look at our candlesticks and see if this is a hammer. Let's go to the 15. Yeah, well, it looks more like a piercing candle right here. I'm going to trade this, change this back to Hikinashi, but I really like LABU right now. This blue line, let's go to the 30. I drew this blue line here because it is kind of a second triangle that we see here. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to look at the, the high of this move right here and bring it all the way down. You see it touches this high, and then comes back down. Or if we're looking at a longer term symmetrical triangle with this blue line, where it touches right here and goes right here, right here. Oftentimes we do have this touch right here. I just didn't draw it here in my example chart. But a lot of times when you have the touch up here instead of the touch right down here, it's a bearish indication. Let's go ahead and I have these drawn out actually. But we see that, we like to see price move upwards, retouch here, and then go up for a bullish breakout above. And it doesn't have a counter example of it, but when price moves down, makes this touch here, and then moves down, a lot of times we, move downwards. But again, like I said, if this high here, this line I drew, this black line, is valid. I think we broke out and we're retesting right now and we're going to move higher. However, if this blue line is true, we might, we might see a bounce here and then it'll head lower. So let's go ahead and draw that right here. You might see that. All right, so that is LABU. These are two short-term predictions on what might happen to price. Either way, I think that we're going to bounce here pretty soon and we're going to head upwards and retest this triangle, this blue line here. Next up is natural gas, UGAS, and let's bring this chart back into focus. Let's go to the daily and see what we can see here. That's pretty tough daily to do any technical analysis on. Let's go to the hourly. Much better. All right, so in the hourly, we see something very interesting happen today, and I actually made a trade in UGAS to increase my position over here. I haven't changed the sizes yet, but we'll probably do that a little bit later this evening. But we see that this channel right here captures the last 3 months worth of trading action. So I like to draw these channels just to give me a guide for where the price is going. And we see right here that we have a well-respected bottom channel right here. We see 1, 2, 3. This might be a triple bottom. I thought that this might be the bottom because I saw that this channel or this trend line was supported right here and it actually bounced up quite a bit higher, but then it continued to fall and hit its ultimate goal. What I might do here is, first of all, zoom into the 30-minute, get a clearer indication, and let's draw. We want to do this or this? Let's do this. All right. So just because it broke through my original trend line here doesn't mean that it's not still valid, and we see that here in the price action today. So we see that even though it waterfalled down into this, it actually stopped its bullish run right here at where this original trend line was. Previous support becomes resistance. And let's see if we can do anything else with this chart. If you like Elliott waves, I guess I see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We see our retracement here of A, B, C, and from here on I think that we might start a new trend higher. Like I said, I am in natural gas and I'm bullish on the chart right now. I think, let me just touch up some of these a little bit. Maybe we can make this a little bit easier to read. And let's see, so we're in the 15-minute chart now. This is basically the last week of trading, and I think that the first resistance level that we're going to want to get up over is, looks like we might have broken this, and that's a lower channel in a, let's go ahead and go to this, a higher channel or resistance line to get up over will be that. Let's lastly kind of, looks like I've already drawn in these support and resistance zones on the graph, or on the chart. We've got one right here, one here, and one here. So these are 3 important zones. We bounced right here, broke through it, and what I think is going to happen in tomorrow's price action is probably going to touch this line again and then break out higher. All right. And that's my analysis for natural gas. Let's move on to oil, UWT. I know a lot of people trade UWT. Let's go to the daily chart, check it out. Pretty hard to see anything clear in this. Actually, no, I see something clear in here. We have a clearly marked downtrend. I think that's of importance. We should probably take that into consideration. And there we go. I like this downtrend channel. This just shows me what the trend has been doing since it became a security, and this seems valid enough to me. We up here we bounced down, bounced up, bounced down, bounced up. We hit the top of this channel here, and we're running back down. Here on the Elliott wave, we see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably an extended 5th wave, and we see a massive dump in shares. Like I said in my last video, I'm actually in its inverse, DWT at the moment, but let's just quickly go ahead and draw our Fibonacci support lines and see if they match up anywhere. Right away, we see that we're approaching our 61.8, which is a major trading level. We see that this is where price kind of stopped before, so let's mark that as an important level. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and say that this 38.2 looks like an important level. And lastly, this 78% retracement seems to be towards the bottom. We might see tomorrow, we might see the price either get supported here at the 61.8 and then move up. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and mark that. I think that this is what's going to happen. I think that we're going to go right here. We're going to see it bounce. I see us moving to B, and we're going to go to C. So this is my prediction as of right now, and then we might move higher and start to break out because this downtrend cannot last forever. So this is my short-term prediction in UWT. Just to look at the DWT chart. Yeah, it's basically just the inverse. I like looking at the bullish part of the trade. But essentially, something's got to happen right here. We see that price seem to stop right around this 61.8% retracement down here, and price doesn't just stop for no reason. We are approaching oversold levels here in our RSI, and we're reaching overbought up here, and we're almost back down below this green oversold condition. Let's see, one last thing that I can do here is draw my Fibonacci time extension to give us an idea of when these zones might happen. So let's go from this low to this low. And we can see that that lines up pretty well. I really like this. I just started using it a few days ago. But we see low here, low here, low here, high here, and the next one is right around here. So I guess we could probably say that we're going to see it right about here. Anyways, this is my analysis for today on UWT. Let's zoom in a little bit more and see if we can identify any interesting moves that would, further validate our hypothesis. So we see that our first resistance zone is going to be right there. Let's go ahead and see if we can make this any sort of a channel. Alright, so that's going to be our long-term or short-term channel here on the 5-minute. And that's all I've got for UWT. Let's go on to energy, ERX, ERX. And right away we can see that, it's kind of long-term bullish, even though the medium to short-term does not say the same picture. However, we've got some important pivot points coming up here, right down here that I've marked. We've got another 3 right here, and then it looks like a straight shot up to this level and this level. So this is on the daily chart. We can see that for the last 5 or so months we've been dropping, and I just don't think that we can continue to drop forever. Unfortunately, though, you can see that I've got a channel inside of a larger channel here. This smaller channel marks probably 75% of the price action, and this larger channel captures about 100% of it. Unfortunately, we got rejected at this high right here. I was really hoping that this head and shoulders was going to play out, and we were going to break out of here and continue to move higher, but we've fallen back into this shorter term channel. So I guess this being invalidated, we can go ahead and delete this and do some analysis here on a shorter time frame. Let's go to the 15-minute. And we see some pretty interesting stuff taking place right here. Let's go ahead and draw a Fibonacci and see if anything is of substance here. Perhaps this is more of an accurate fib level than this very top. And we can see that it's hitting our 78.6% retracement. I bought some ERX today. I'm currently bullish on it, even though that the recent, multi-day trend has been very bearish. I also see this interesting pattern taking place right here. This little bit of harmonics. I usually don't trade harmonics, but when I see them, I just keep them around usually for a couple days. It might actually be a little bit more like this. You can see this go as low as 1.68, I think that the level is, or 1.28, in which case we've basically reached that. However, harmonics are just something like Fibonacci to keep in your back pocket. Last but not least, let's check out our time signatures to see if we can find anything of interest in our time. So we go from our low to a previous low. Seems like a lot of lows right here, or a lot of lines. Maybe we can find something of more substance on a longer time frame, and it looks like we definitely do. I like this a lot right here. I like this time zone. So we've got low, 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 high, and I think that this might be our last low. This is further supported by the idea that our RSI is down here. We're getting a lot of green signals to purchase. It's pretty accurate, I found in the past. Not in the overall trend, but in the short-term trend. For example, this over here, this was a short-term bounce, and then it came back down. We were oversold, short-term bounce. This signaled over here again, and we had a long-term bounce. And once more, it occurred right here, short-term bounce, and we're seeing a lot over here. We're seeing more buying indicators right here than usual. Usually you get 1, 1, 1, 2, but right now it looks like we've got 3 going on right here, as well as a pretty substantial increase in volume. We see volume picking up, and let's just go ahead and make a note of that. See volume increasing, and we're going to have to see what plays out tomorrow. But right now, my short-term hypothesis on ERX energy is bullish. All right, let's move on to our next one, which is Volatility ETF, ZIV. This is just a stock that I think that you should have in your long portfolio all the time. You can see that on the daily trend, we have had a sustained, beautiful uptrend here in this vehicle. These blue lines that I marked are some hammers that I found, and the reason I marked those today is because the hammers are relevant in some way. We can also see that I drew my time just to give me a further indication of any potential price movements, and it basically just gives me further confidence when I trade by having these time signatures. And also, you can be right on price, but if you're not right on when that price action occurs, then what good is knowing what direction the price is going to move? A lot of trading is just time. So let's move into our hour chart, get a better read. Let's see, candles. Okay, so this is the chart that I thought that candles were really very important. First of all, let's take a look at some hammers. So I guess we see one right here. We have a hammer right here marking this channel end. We have a hammer right here. We have a hammer up here. We have this hammer down right here. And we see our gap down, our gap up, and we can see our hammer right here and a hammer right here. So let's go back to Heikin-Ashi. I drew some, let's go to the 30-minute. I drew some Elliott wave and then the 15-minute. So right here, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a nice flag right here, if you saw it, supported with our Elliott waves. And we can see now that we've reached a sort of a channel, but this could also be an ascending triangle because we've got the support line right here, and we also seem to have hit a top at this point. I think we could bring our top down to here. And so if it is an ascending triangle, let's see, it looks like I drew out some hypothetical lines. We might see a stall out in volatility for the end of the week here. But if it is, we've got our retest here, our A, B, C, D, E, and then I expect it to break out much higher. If it is a channel, then it looks like this is just bouncing off the bottom of the channel. It's probably going to move up here, here, here. But in the past, it seems that the price action moves at a steeper slope than this channel right here would indicate. However, this is my short-term thesis on volatility. We do see a huge amount of sellers coming in right here. You see our RSI breaking underneath 50. 50 usually needs to stay above this 50 level to continue moving up in price. We see it breaking below, as well as the volume. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that tomorrow. Let's move on, BRZU. And a couple days back, Brazil got downgraded, just massively took a dump on the share's price. But right here, this is my, it looks like basically a 9 months worth of price action here, sustained in this channel. Like I said before, I just like channels to give me an idea of where the, the price has been for a while, and it looks like it, it was supported by this channel here on this recent dump. So let's go into a shorter time frame, just because I'm bearish on it because of fundamentally, Brazil got downgraded. So fundamentally, I am not very bullish on the stock right now. But technically, which I am a technical trader, I really like the price action that's been playing out in BRZU the last few days. So let's see if we can find anything from that. Actually, let's go to the 2-hour chart. I want to draw a quick fib line and give us some resistance points. All right, now let's go to the 30-minute, and let's go to the 15-minute. And we see here that there's been a lot of volatility bouncing around up here. Let's see if we can, so we see this enormous gap right here. Let's go, so there are 2 highs right there, and then this is the gap range basically. Let's move back to our Hikinashi, and we can see that this is perhaps the bottom. Anyways, so we've got this previous top over here. I think we could bring this down a little bit since a candle didn't break above it, and have this peak and this peak. And then what we also have is, it looks to be, I don't like that. I like this a little bit more. Let's adjust this. And then let's clone this. All right, I think that looks pretty accurate, pretty relevant. So we can see that we have a major uptrend, or higher resistance, it's resistance line right here. Perhaps we can draw this out, and we might find that we're coming into a bit of a descent or a ascending triangle. Anyways, my short-term prediction here for BRZU. Let's go into the 1 minute again, because I think that some of these 1 minute charts on super volatile stocks can be interesting, and it's also what I trade off of. So BRZU, we see this mid-channel line, and what else do we see? I think we could see this head and shoulders play out. This could be a miniature head and shoulders here. What it could also be is a cup and handle. Let me draw that real quick. And that is my short-term prediction on BRZU. I do think that we're going to move higher after bouncing off of this support line. All right, so SPXL, we had some very important stuff take place here. This is the S&P 500 Bull 3 times leveraged ETF, SPXL. We see our time existence zones. We've got 1 low, 1 low, 1 low, 1 low, 1 low, and another low potentially coming over here. Looks like we might have a breakout, and our chart might be legitimate. However, I am skeptical because this price action here on the daily chart, this B wave did not come all the way back up. However, I see this ascending triangle right here, and I think it's significant enough, and everything else checks out all right, that I don't want to just dismiss having this technical analysis come out because this B wave didn't play through because everything else did. But we see here over on the right that usually we have this price touch, A, B, C, D, E, and a breakout. Let's go ahead and, like on our other chart, delete this real quick and redraw this, and have that as our replica chart. We see that price came into it. We have our touch here, A, B, C, D, E, and then it looks like it was supported, and it broke out. It broke out here on very low volume, very low volume. Should make a note of that. And actually, what does this is where I learned most of my technical analysis from. Let's see what this guy has to say about the volume on ascending triangles. Alright, so ascending triangles says that the volume should trend downward 77% of the time. Alright, so Bulkowski says it. We've got our volume trending way down, zero volume going on here. So the markets, it looks like we broke out into new high territory. I guess that my prediction for the short term is that it's going to pull back and break out higher. So that is my analysis on the market in general, S&P 500. Let's move on and look at Russia and see how they're doing over there. Not too hot. However, we've got some interesting technical analysis taking place here. We see that we are in this upwards channel, capturing about 80% of the price action, and we're moving into an extremely beautiful ascendant symmetrical triangle. Let's go ahead and just draw some time zones to figure out if anything is occurring time-wise. And we're going to scoot that over one more. Alright, so I marked this here because it is the touch of our, if we were to draw a example diagram chart again, theory is that we have price, touch, complete that line there. So we've got our uptrend, our touch, our A, B, C, D, E. However, I had a larger A, B, C, D, E take place here. I had a A, B, C, D, and E right here, whereas before I just had it be the A, or the A, B, C, D, E on a smaller time frame. So speaking of smaller time frames, let's go down a little bit more. And price did not just stop here randomly. It was supported by this lower trend line, which gives me further confidence in drawing that. So right now we are expecting it to move higher. So my short-term prediction for Russell, so we're going to break out, retest, and then move higher. Anything interesting happen on the 1 minute? Looks like not much interesting happened on the 1 minute. I usually like to look for, head and shoulders or something of that sort. Let's look at home builders, real estate, bull 3 times ETF, DRN, and we see that this channel captures much of the activity. It's kind of a slow mover. So for the last 4 or 5 months here, it's captured by this channel, and I like to trade based off of that. And these black horizontal lines mark some important price pivot points. We've got 1, 2, 3 here, and it looks like we bounced off. I'm actually in this trade. I bought down here at about 20.25, and it's just been a steady eddy for me. I really like it. These timelines, we have a 1, a low here, high here, and I think that this should have been a low down over here. However, it didn't match up perfectly. However, I think that in the short-term, medium-term future, we're going to continue to see the sustained uptrend. I am wary of this taking place right here. This could potentially be a cup and handle formation playing out. We could see, something like this take place, or we could continue to just move upwards. Either way, my exit point is going to be at about 23 bucks. And we've got about $1 worth of a move left in that. Let's move to the 15-minute chart and just draw this nice trend line. And I think that that's all I want to do on DRN. Let's save the chart, and sure hope that my other charts have saved along with it. Let's check that out. Looks like they have. Let's save that. TMF, let's look at bonds and see what bonds are doing. So on the daily chart, we see that this captures 3 years worth of trading. I don't want to do that. I want to capture maybe a couple months. So we're going to move into the hour time range, and we see that this captured, about 5 or 6 months worth of activity in here. We see, let's see if we can move back a little bit. I was thinking that this was a horizontal bottom, so we've got a, let's go ahead and draw this. We've got a Elliott 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave in here. These are major waves, and then we've got our A, B, C retracement. Let's go back into let's go to the 30-minute. And what I kind of see here, again, is this harmonic, this A, B, C, D thing that might play out here. We've got 1, 2, and D. D ends at the 1681. Moving on into this in the 15-minute time frame, I kind of marked this flag that we have playing out here. And flags usually have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading range before moving higher. This would also be supported by my harmonic. However, let's go ahead and draw this trend. Looks like this line is no longer supported. However, I think I might be okay with that. Might not be, but either way, I am bullish on TMF. So this is our flagpole here. Let's clone it, bring it up over here, and go to a 30-minute, 1 hour, and we see that this shows, a much higher, if this is a true flag, which it very well might not be, but it's just what I'm seeing in the price action. We see that we could see a sustained run higher. However, for the very short term, I see us stalling out right here, potentially hitting this 4, and I think that we could move in higher here and then break out. Tomorrow we could see a very down day, supported by the S&P 500 breaking out. But for the medium term, this is my analysis. Let's move on to our last one, which is Gush, S&P 3 times leveraged ETF on oil. And let's go to the daily. Looks like I don't have anything drawn on this, so we're going to have a field day analyzing this. And we definitely see a long-term downtrend taking place here. Just give me a minute and do some quick technical analysis on this here. Let's do some time. So we got our low, 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 potentially low over here. I find that Gush and ERX are very similar in price action. For example, we have this head and shoulders that played out in Gush here as well, broke down. Let's look at some support levels right here. This seems to be an important level. And right there is going to be breakout. My short-term analysis is that we're probably going to go all the way back down to this 24 level and then shoot higher. Let's go to the intraday chart, see if we can find anything interesting. Looks like we broke out of this channel at least. And we might be retesting right now, and we might move higher. Or we might not, who knows. This could also be chalked up as a... TradingView changed up their stuff, and I don't really like it because I'm not used to it yet, but it's not hard on charting. You see this head and shoulders right here. You might see something like that play out here on the intraday 3-minute time frame. Moving into tomorrow. Anyways, this was my analysis. It was 8% down today, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you found anything from this, you want to catch more of my videos in the future, I'll be trying to put these out every 1 to 2 days on the ETFs, leveraged and unleveraged ETFs. Be my guest to like or subscribe this video, follow me, and I wish you the best of luck in your trading tomorrow. Bye-bye.